Hello chess fans, we're back with another rapid chess video and we're against Hamed Manushiri. So I actually have lost against this opponent before. So let's start off with e4 and we'll see what our opponent does. Not sure what to expect here. Yeah, if they go for the French, we're going to go for our favorite line, Queen e2 probably. And other than that, I'm not sure. Okay, we see d6. So let's put 2 pawns in the center. Knight f6 is the perk or the Philidor with e5. And g6 or pretty much any other move pretty much looks like a modern. Okay, so we see knight f6, so the pretty much only move is knight c3. You could also go bishop d3. It's a little bit more passive. Knight c3 is a little bit more flexible. Usually we don't want to commit to c4. And even if we did want to commit to c4, bishop usually doesn't belong on d3 where black's going to play g6. So that's why bishop d3 may be a safer move, looking for like c3 ideas. But knight c3 is a more ambitious move. So we'll either see e5 or g6 here. I'm guessing these are the two main lines. Both of them have some idea of getting out the bishop. So e5 immediately breaking the center. Here we could take and capture here. Or with g6 that just goes into a perk. And yeah, there's a lot of interesting lines there. I don't think there's any other moves here. I mean, there might also be like knight c6 as an idea. This is a very, very flexible way of playing. I could immediately look for d5, but then knight e5, and I don't really want to play f4 because knight d7 followed by c6, and okay, my center is kind of weak. But at that point, you could go for something like bishop e2. Okay, we see c6, which is a much less popular move. So after here, the main line by far is f4, and then we'll see probably queen a5 here, I would guess, which transposes into what's called the check perk. So let's go bishop d3. And on e5, we'll go knight f3. So e5 is almost assuredly going to be played here. There's pretty much no other move. And I'm surprised my opponent's taking this long to play the sequence. Okay, so we do see e5. Now we go knight f3. And our simple idea is going to be to castle, go king h1, and bishop e3. So that after knight g4, our bishop has some sort of retreating option. So actually funny, I have looked at this recently. Okay, so bishop there. I'm 90% sure. There's one of two options here. There's either take and f5, which is one of the options, and then the bishop is sort of trapped here. It sort of has to trade itself off, or there's bishop e3. And I'm more inclined to go bishop e3 because if I take and go f5, he has bishop c5, which I don't think he usually gets the opportunity to do, or he gets bishop b4 even, which I don't want him to do. So I'm going to go here. So the idea of bishop b4 now is that what's it called? Yeah, the knight can't go to g4 anymore. So now the knight goes to d7. So now I'm pretty incentivized to just castle it out. I could also go for a3 here, because in some positions there's some idea of like some ideas of like there queen b4 or queen b6 even, which would win a pawn. Queen b6, I have knight a4 for the time being, so I'm just going to castle, I think. But then he has some b5 ideas, like queen b6. Okay, I just don't think moving the queen twice. I think I can probably, at worst, maybe I can go queen b6, queen d2. Okay, so now he goes there. So now I'm incentivized to go takes in here. I could also go a3 with just getting rid of all his threats. Could also go h3, bringing my queen here. Let's just go h3. Picking up the bishop pair. He can't go back here, I don't believe. Okay, he does. Okay, so his idea on g4 is to go takes, which is very, very interesting, I think. I'm not so sure if it's correct, but essentially I got h3 for free. Now I could go takes f5, which would force bishop here, and I've gotten h3 for free. After takes knight c5, my only problem is that he hasn't castled yet. I want him to castle kingside before I really commit to my decision. Could also go like queen e1 with some threats to go knight d5 in the future. Also, this defends this. The problem is queen e1, he'll take here almost assuredly. And then is there like some takes queen b4 ideas again? A knight e2. Then he trades queens. It's probably still a better endgame for me because this d5 pawn basically has to allow me to push e5 at some point. So queen e1 kind of looks natural. Could also go like king h1, just improving. I just really want him to castle. Let's just go queen e1. I'm not sure what to do. I think we're somewhat better here. So yeah, he took. That was obvious at that point. He obviously didn't want to stake with the queen, but I think the queen's fine on e1 as well. And I'm really considering right now whether I actually need to go for this f5 plan. Because, yeah, giving him knight c5 is kind of annoying. And I kind of don't want to do that. I really don't want to allow either his bishop to get here or his knight to get here. That just seems kind of not what the position is calling for. Okay, he goes queen c7. I'm thinking just queen f2 to try to bring in the other rook. Looks very natural. It kind of traps this rook a little bit, but I don't think it's a big deal. Is there any d5 ideas? No, I just take. Is there any c5 ideas? No, because then I just take, and go f5. And okay, he finally castles, which makes me a lot happier about the position, about pushing e5 and then g4 even, and going for the king. So yeah, I think probably takes here is probably correct. I could also go king h1 to start with. Not sure if there's a big deal, because is he going to go rook e8? Then I'm even happier doing this. So I'm going to go king h1. Pretty much a nothing move, but also preparing rook g1 in some positions, keeping very, very flexible. And yeah, now I would be more inclined to do this and f5 because he never has any ideas of there. Okay, now he finally goes for that. And at this point, I think now I can comfortably go for this. Takes and f5. And now f5. And now he doesn't even have bishop c5. He doesn't have, not bishop c5, sorry. He doesn't have any idea of getting anything to c5. And g4, g5 is coming quickly. My rook can come to g1 even. It looks pretty good for me at this point. There looks like there's going to be some big attack here. And it's difficult because he can't even run. Like if he goes rook d1 and king f8, like I immediately come crashing through with f6. Which after the f file opens, I mean, okay. So this position has me a little bit excited because I think that it's going to get very chaotic. He could go even h5, which is an interesting idea. I think I probably just go rook g1 though, and then I renew the threat of playing here, and he doesn't really have an option to prevent that. Like my idea here is very, very simple, and this b5, it's kind of a little slow. Now on b4, do I go knight e2? Which case he plays c5. I have to go b3 and then knight b6. Then I can go c4. c4 is possible there. Rook d1, bishop c2, but okay, let's calculate that again. b4, knight e2, c5, threatening c4, so I have to go b3. What if he just goes takes and then knight b6? Well, then I can push. Okay, so b4, knight e2, c5, b3, knight b6, c4, b takes here, takes c4. The only risk with that is he does give up b6. Okay, so he can't even, he goes a6, which means he can't even play knight b6 anymore. So that's obviously, I think, bad. That's, I think, a very, very bad idea. Okay, now he goes c5, but now g5 comes, and then knight d5, and okay, I think he's just lost here now. I think this was, he lost the plot of the position here. You definitely had to do something quickly there. Okay, knight h5 even. That also, I don't think can be correct. Okay, the knight jumps in now. Knight to d5. Queen d8 is played. Now f6 just pretty much looks killer. This knight is a monster on d5. So g takes, knight takes, whatever knight takes. I can even just pin it. Yeah, okay, f6 is just, okay, this is just completely game over. There's just no way. I think my opponent is, it's probably like +5, +6 here. This a6 c5 idea way too slow. And yeah, I think we're just crashing through. So takes, now more lines to the king are wide open. He definitely cannot take here. I can at least, minimum, I can take, and then just pin him. And then I would just win a full piece. So, okay, he goes for it. So now just give a check, I think. I mean, here there's like 12 different wins. Like for one, I could even take, and then take this way. And then pick up the rook like this. It's also possible. I mean, there's so many wins here that I just have to pick one, and then should be good enough. Wait, what do I want to do? Like this is convincing. Okay, I mean, I think I probably always just give this check. I don't think there's any harm to it to just get the king here. Oh, also, actually, after getting the king here and going takes, bishop g5, I even have rook takes f6. Yeah, so this is just pretty much game over. We'll see what our opponent does here. So again, I still have takes, winning this. But I think the simplest is takes here. And then after queen takes to go bishop g5. I think that's probably just best. Funnily enough, if he goes knight f4 there, then I can just take with the rook. Takes and then take here. c4. Okay. He goes c4. I kind of just want to take here with the rook. He takes here. And then I take on f7. Yeah, I'm just going to take with the rook, I think. Just take with the rook. If he takes here, I just take on f7. Maybe a little bit too fancy. There might have been no need to do any of this. Takes on f7. He takes on c2. Well, then I could just trade everything and then just pick this up at worst. Go knight f5 or something. Yeah, maybe actually this was too fancy. But now bishop g5, yeah? Oh, wait, what? Bishop g5, rook g8 though. Rook g6. Okay, it's not clear. I could just go rook h6 though. And I have two threats. I have the threat to take on h7, king takes, and then queen h5. Which is nice. I was actually kind of scared there I blundered. But yeah, I guess there's more important things to mate than this bishop, which is checkmate. So yeah, rook h6 should be, I think, game over. Okay, knight f4. He goes knight f4. Could go takes. Yeah, I don't really see it, so I'm just going to go back, actually. Just going to defend this. No need, and I just pick this up next move. I don't really see a defense for him. Knight f4 is a good move, though. Okay, he goes there, finally. Let's go queen f5. He can't move the knight anymore. Now just bring the rook in like this, probably. Rook g5, rook here. I don't know why I went queen f5, to be honest. I don't know, it just felt more secure. Here, I have takes here even. But now I just go here. We'll see what my opponent does. Probably rook g8. I mean, he doesn't really have a move to defend, does he? I just want to make sure that he doesn't like accidentally get some sort of check here. Like even if he goes knight here, I just checkmate him. So there's no way to attack this even further. Okay, and my opponent resigns. So interesting game. I think this is a good example of how to beat the check perk. I sort of played a line that I have recommended before. So knight f3 here. Bishop g4 is the main line. So there's also ed and knight d7. I mean, knight d7 just logically it just doesn't really make sense because then your bishop is trapped. So maybe bishop g4 first makes sense. Bishop e3, knight b7, castles, bishop e7. So this is all theory. h3, bishop h5, and oh wow, okay, so queen e1 is the best move here. It's hard to actually find something to do. Like king h1 is also always a move here. One thing that I think that a lot of players have a problem with this position when they first ever see it is that it feels like you should immediately have to punish black for what they're doing. But the idea is pretty much just you have to play slowly and play around their ideas. Like I have to make sure they never get this c5 outpost and they get this nice bishop outpost. Because at the end of the day, white has pushed a lot of pawns and that does create a lot of dark square weaknesses. So you have to use your space wisely. So queen e1, Okay, best move, takes. Queen c7. So this was the first point where we deviated from theory. Castles was played. And yeah, here my plan was always to go king h1. And then I guess rook e8 would be played. And then a3, just waiting here. And I have to keep my queen attached to the rook for the time being so that he can't go b4. So I guess here g4 would make a lot of sense. And then we would have a different game after here. Now queen f2 with this coming in. And this would be, okay, slightly better for white. I think white's definitely pressing, but it's still a game. And this is why this line is very, very playable. Actually, I'm immediately curious. c5. Oh yeah, I have takes and then takes here. Okay. I was like, that looks kind of good for white. But instead he went queen c7, which is also a decent move. Queen f2, again, the best move. Here, now king h1, again, one of the top moves. a4 here is apparently slightly better. Makes sense to prevent any counterplay. But b5 I didn't mind. Now here I took, played f5. This is the classic idea. Okay, so we can't go f5 right away because then he gets this monster square for his knight, and we absolutely cannot allow him to get that square for the knight. That's why we wanted to take first. So that's why we take. Now he can't go knight here, and he can't go knight here. So it's hard to do anything. So on b4, my idea was to go knight e2, which c5, b3. Okay, he does have c4, and then, okay, he just waits. He goes queen c6 and then knight b6. Okay, which something I missed. The line I was calculating was knight b6 here, and now c4 now. Okay, and he can just go rook fd8, which is what we looked at, and we thought was good because I just have a free attack. But okay, so on b4, instead of that, I should go knight b1. To go knight d2. Very difficult move, I think. And now knight d2 makes a lot of sense here. And not even b3, but instead queen e2. Yeah, okay, that's difficult. So yeah, maybe he has more counterplay than I anticipated, which is why I should maybe build up a little bit further. Now if b4, knight e2 is a lot more powerful. Yeah, it makes sense because there's still this tension. Okay, but instead I took, went here, and now g4 is just completely winning. Yeah, a6 misses the thread. You need to be immediate here as black. This is a very, very critical move because a6 is just so slow. And now c5. But like, once you say A, you said a6 to play c5, you kind of have to play c5 at this point. So it's not really my opponent's fault for doing that. And now knight d5, yeah, it's completely winning. Rook f6 is, okay, best move. All these are best moves, actually. Now rook h6 here. Bishop c5 is the best move. Rook g8 is the best move here. But here takes, okay, I'm turning mate. So he has to capture this, and now I'm up a full rook after here. Wow, he can't even defend this. So he has to give up a queen too. Okay, yeah, I didn't see any of that. Knight g6, queen f5, he rook here, and then rook here, and then here he resigns. But yeah, here takes, and yeah, there's like 1 quadrillion threats. If he goes here, what would be the quickest mate? Just probably here, and then checkmate. So yeah, I think that was a pretty good illustration of how you beat the check perk. If you guys like this video, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.